Hi there, and welcome to the Nourish Nutrition Business Show. This is Sherry Rothwell, and on today's show, I am hosting Sean and Lynne, and they are the creators of the Holistic Nutrition Hub, which is an amazing resource for holistic nutritionists and health coaches that I've had the pleasure of being able to test out and can vouch for how amazingly easy it makes to run the back end of your business. So before we get started, and I introduce these two lovely people, who you're going to get so much information from, and they're so kind and so nice, and you're going to really want to get to know them and become part of the community that they've created online, which is really, really cool too. Not just, joining their back end, the platform that they've created for you, but they have a Facebook group that is associated with it, and they're just super community oriented. So I hope that you make the time to actually go check everything out and also join that group so that you can stay connected with them. So one sec, I'm just going to make sure that this is playing fine on my Facebook page. It appears to be.
Yep.
Okay, we're all good. All right. So welcome to the show, you guys. So excited having it here. All right. So I'm going to officially read their bios so you get to know a little bit about their background. So Lynne is a registered holistic nutritionist, meal prep mastermind, wife and mother of 3. Lynne's dreams and creativity have brought Holistic Nutrition Hub to fruition so that all nutrition practitioners can better help their clients and attain their business goals. And about Sean. Sean is the co-founder of the Hub, a dedicated personal trainer and an entrepreneur at heart. Passionate about all things nutrition and fitness, he takes care of the Holistic Nutrition Hub website, the community, and most of the laundry around the house. Good man. In his spare time, Sean loves building websites and writing about all things fitness, business, and marketing. Yay!
Awesome.
So, yeah, why don't you guys just kind of start off by letting us know, what inspired you to build this? What was, going on in your experience of being a holistic nutritionist, Lynne, and how you guys decided to collaborate together with your, unique skills. And no wonder that you guys were put together to be able to, that your different skills and talents, and that you're married, and it's really cool. So let's just hear how that all got started.
Yeah, I'll start because it was really one of those moments where it was, this is what I need to do. And it came to me one night when I was sleeping. I just woke up and I was like, I need to do this. And so it was really cool to me to hear what happened or to see how it came to be. But basically my background is in administration. And so I've been in admin for over 10 years and mostly at high level admin roles. And basically, of course, in admin, your job is to figure out how to streamline a business, how to run the processes, and make it easier for the business to run, essentially. And so when I became a holistic nutritionist, I thought it was going to be easy to get clients. I thought I had the skills and the tools that I needed to run my business, putting together Word documents and forms and all of that stuff. I had experience doing that, and it still took me a ton of time to put it all together. And I thought, oh man, if this is what people are coming into and they have no administration background or no background with computers, I can't imagine how difficult it is for them to put together a business and how much time they're wasting. So yeah, I woke up one night and I said, I need to find a way to make this easy for everybody to do so that we can actually help people, which is ideally what we want to do. We want people to succeed in their business so that we can actually create health and wellness and not stress, especially for the practitioner at this point, right? If everybody's stressed out about their job, it's not going to work out well. So I explained my idea to Sean, and he was like, oh man, Lynne, that is a big undertaking. I don't know if you know what you're getting into. And I said, I do know what I'm getting into. And he's like, it's going to be a lot of money. It's going to be so much work. You don't have time for this. And I was like, I know I don't have time for this, but this has to be done. And I was like, you can either come with me on my journey to do this, or I'm going to do it without you. And, it doesn't mean we didn't have to be married, but this was what my job was going to be, this is what I chose for myself. I went, I was part of a business networking group at the time, and there was a developer in there, And I showed it to him. I showed my idea to him, and he thought it was genius. He thought it was a great idea. And so we started working together, which proved to be not the best option for us in the long run. And things didn't quite work out, which is where kind of Sean comes into the picture. So I'll kind of pass the reins over to Sean to explain what happened from there.
Okay, that sounds great. I just want to say before you get started on that, just how I love that you came up with this concept, thinking like, you know, the struggle that you were having, and then using that to solve a problem, make a difference for others. Because you're right, like if every single holistic nutritionist has to build their back end from scratch, like why reinvent the wheel over and over and over again? And saving people so much time so they can just get focused on the part they were excited when they became nutritionists, which is to help people, not get, you know, mired down in all this technical stuff that is draining of people's energy, essentially, because nobody's like, yay, I became a nutritionist so I could spend all the time on my computer learning like all this technology and like internet marketing, right?
Well, exactly. Internet marketing, forms, questionnaires, templates, whatever it is. I mean, I put together, when I was doing my cooking class, I put together a massive Word document, which is very similar to, you know, what That Clean Life produces now, but it took me 15 hours to put it together. Once it was done, it was great. But at that point, it was crazy.
All right, Sean, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you didn't. That was great, Sherry. Thanks. So I think to carry on where Lynn left off, I was very skeptical about the idea at first. That's absolutely true. I was pretty resistant, actually, because I knew how much we already had on our plates. I was about 9 months into building my own personal training business. We were doing okay, but we were working a lot already. And so seeing that come into the picture on top of everything was pretty daunting, I have to say. In hindsight, maybe I knew that I was going to be involved to the extent that I am now. And I was dreading the amount of work that I was going to have to put in. It didn't work out with those developers that we worked with, unfortunately. Thankfully, along the way, I was taking care of Lynne's website, which she wanted to be a community-driven website. So for those who've been following us since the early days, it was called Holistic Workshops. And we actually hosted an event calendar on there, and nutritionists could post their events. And then we had a blog where other nutritionists would contribute to. And so while the developers were supposed to build the hub, or what is now the hub, I was working on that, on Lynne's website, essentially. And I got to know and understand how to do all this. I don't have a background in IT or in computers or anything like that. I'm just really curious. I like to learn, and I like puzzles. I like to solve puzzles, whether it's with people in the gym trying to make them move better, or with computers. I like that too. And so when we parted ways with the developers, I was able to take over, and Lynne and I together were able to slowly, piece by piece, put together what the hub is today. It took us a few months of really hard work, from the summer when we, I think, first launched the free membership, to, I guess, 2 weeks ago when we launched our premium membership. It took a long time, a lot of trial and error, a few arguments between Lynne and I, because I like to have things my way, but obviously she's a subject matter expert in this case, so everything had to be passed through her, which was great, because at the end we have something that can really help the practitioners just do a better job, essentially. So we're really excited to have this today for everybody to use.
Wonderful. I'm very impressed that you don't have a background in IT and you've been able to like actually create this. Like, that blows my mind.
It blows my mind. It blows my mind. I never thought that would happen.
Wow. That's just, whoa. Most people are like, oh my God, how do I set up an opt-in form on my website? Like, and that's like, could take them 3 weeks to, understand and set up, right? So that's pretty amazing. Obviously, your innate skills were built so you could create this project, right? Like, I think all of these things are, in a sense, planned. Like, we all have a destiny, and it, this is a pretty incredible mission that you guys have.
Thanks.
I feel too.
Oh, thank you. I feel the same way. The way that I think about it is thinking about how Sean went through his business processes. He started his personal training business 2 years before this even happened. And then I started my business. And so he had already gone through a lot of the motions of building a business. And then he learned how to do the website design. And then I went through the process of, admin and all of those things. And without all of those tool sets, I don't think that we would have been able to actually create what we have created. And to me, every day, I'm super thankful that we did go through those, and they weren't easy times. I mean, we struggled quite a bit, but now that I see it, I'm so thankful that we actually went through them, because now we can help everybody else. And that is honestly our ultimate goal, help everybody else. And that's it.
Beautiful. It's like everything you learned up till now was perfectly positioned to get you to have this, everything you needed to know, and everything that you is innately you, just mixed together, and boom, you have everything you need to create this great platform that is full of amazing templates that just like make your business easier. And, it requires having, not just the technical background, but, having you, Lynn, there because of understanding what a nutritionist needs, right? Like, somebody could come up with a business idea that like this, but if they didn't have the understanding of the role of a holistic nutritionist and what a holistic nutritionist does, they would just never be able to, foresee what the challenges are and then make it easier for people. So, it's really amazing what you've put together. One of my favorite things that Sean pointed out to me early on when I was testing everything was how you created the vitamin mineral template, where when the person, so if for everyone listening, this is one of the tools in the program. When you send your client a form for vitamin mineral deficiencies, Lynn has created a template in which it says what the person should eat if they have that vitamin or mineral deficiency, things they should avoid to prevent to deal with, like, if there's absorption issues or whatever, or conflicts, to, stop the absorption, and how to make things more absorbable, right? So if you had to go figure that out on your own, I mean, that's just like with every client, you're just reinventing the wheel constantly, right? But the way she created it is all there. And then they just added another part of I don't know, what do you call it? Like, I don't know if it's a template where you can literally type in all your recommendations into the online and it'll print a PDF. And this thing that she created for vitamin and mineral deficiencies, you can just like click a button and actually put those recommendations right into the form without having to like go research, or copy and paste or type anything. It's just all done for you. And I'm sure that like this is a new platform. So imagine how much more these wonderful people are going to develop to make it easier for you to serve your clients and not have to reinvent the wheel with every single one, right? Like, I mean, so many people are overwhelmed, even when they're just in school as holistic nutritionists, with this template for case studies, right? It's like, what? I do an assessment 12 hours for clients. This just means that you can like give them everything that you could give them for working for 12 hours, but it's not going to take you 12 hours. So it's going to be, not only save you time, but you're going to be able to serve more clients. So you aren't, spending all your time writing and making handouts, and instead you'll actually serve clients.
100%. That's exactly why we made the platform that way. Is everything is streamlined, and I can't take all the credit for it. I mean, the concept and the idea and the forms and everything that are there were my idea, but Sean's put in his little tidbits when you were talking about the vitamin and mineral in the recommendation, like the main recommendation form that you were talking about, where you can just click the vitamin and it just auto populates into that form. That was Sean's idea. And so, like, it's great to have these two minds that are very, analytical, and we just sit there and look at everything. And Sean's like, well, what if we did this? It would make it that much better. So it's great to have Sean, because some of these things I wouldn't have come up with on my own, and he's really put his little finished touches on it, and it's working out really good. And it's definitely not the end of what we're putting together. These forms are I think, amazing. I mean, every time I sat down with a client, it was go dig through my textbooks, you know, like, okay, this person has some signs of this. Okay, what do I have to do for B vitamins? Okay, this kind of vitamin C deficiency. What do I do for this? And as a new practitioner, obviously that takes time. You know the basics, you know the general idea, but to really give somebody good quality recommendations, yeah, it took a lot of time. Like I was wasting, this should save you, these forms should save you. As a new practitioner, probably I was saving 5 to 8 hours of my time with each client, which is an absurd amount of time, like crazy amount. And I can't imagine, like, that was me being proficient on a computer too. So for those people who are not, you know, we're really conservative and we say it'll save you a few hours per practitioner. But if you're new at this, it'll save you far more than a few hours. Yeah. And hopefully it will stop people from not continuing to consult because people are like, oh, this is way too tough. So that's really, yeah, we're pretty excited. It's definitely not the end game. And as soon as questions and new things come out, like we're right on it. We're like, let's do it.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
Yeah.
I'd love to walk through like all of the different templates. Before I do that though, for those of you watching, I just want to remind you that at any point you're welcome to ask a question. Sean and Lynn can answer it here on the live stream. So feel free to do that. I'm watching to see if any comments show up. So let me just, I have my little list here of the different things that you guys offer. So let's talk about the menu planner. So these, the Holistic Nutrition Hub has a place where you can start adding recipes that you know that you want to use for your clients and store them in this database to make it easy. Is it kind of like a plug? I haven't actually tested this myself, but is it like a plug and play? Like once you have the recipes in there, you just like drop them into the spot on the menu? How does that work?
Sean, I'll let you answer this one.
Sounds good. So the recipe builder, essentially we want to make it easy so that if there are recipes that you use consistently with your clients, or maybe just a template of a recipe, you can always modify the details, but essentially you can save that recipe, and then there's no drag and drop at this point, but you have you can still decide what quantity of ingredients you want, write down the ingredients, customize all the directions, each step for the recipe. And you can save that essentially one-page PDF template that's branded with your logo and your name on it. You can save this. You can send it to a client directly. You can download it to your computer. You could just edit it later on and modify it slightly for a different client and then save that PDF. You could essentially slowly build a collection of recipes that you want to use with your clients so that you don't have to do it over and over again.
Yeah, that sounds great. And so does it, I thought I saw like a chart. Does it generate like names of, like with each meal or anything like that? Was there a chart there?
So you can essentially, you save them into your account, and then by going to your documents, you can see all the meal plans you created, you can see all the recipes you created, and then from there you can either download them again, you can edit them, and resend them to your clients.
Okay, the chart that you're referring to is the actual meal plan template that we have as well. So there's the recipe portion of it to create those, and then there's the meal planner itself. So there's like it's set out. So you just literally go in, it'll say like day 1, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, and then it just you just type in what you want. So once you've created these recipes in the recipe box, you just say, okay, well, you're having egg frittata in the morning, salmon and salad at lunch, whatever it is, and then that auto populates the menu planner portion of it. Sean, those get saved as well, right? In the back end.
Correct. You've got the recipes, for lack of a better term, and then you've got the weekly meal planner. Those are not necessarily connected; they're independent documents. But once you've created your recipes, you just use the title of those recipes in your meal planner. And again, you can create as many templates as you want. So once you've done it with one client, maybe another client might be completely different. But if somebody has similar needs, you can reuse one that you've done in the past and not have to, like Lynn said, reinvent the wheel. So you're not redoing the same thing over and over again.
Right. Nice.
I think the most important thing that I want to hit home here is that there's no formatting. So, when you create a recipe in a Word document or whatever it is, you got to fiddle with formatting and typing and then the picture doesn't sit properly. This is all done for you. Your logo is extracted from your back-end account. It goes right on there. You click PDF, it's done. So I think the formatting part of it is in all of the forms is something that I really want to hit home for people, is that there's no fiddling around. You type, it's done. And that is the time saver, really.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I definitely like that. I saw that a new thing you added was invoices.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Go ahead, Annie.
Oh, well, you go ahead.
We're trying to slowly, as we grow, we're trying to bridge every gap, to try to fill every missing part that there is in the consulting process for the nutritionist. So sometimes, with my background as a trainer, I've gone through this, like Lynn said before. So I think Lynn and I are very aligned in the way that we think. There's definitely slight differences between the systems that we use in our respective fields, but I still think there's a lot of overlap, and we need a lot of the same documents and resources along the way. So the invoice was just plug in that hole of how do I invoice my clients, or you can either sign up for another service to build invoices for you, or you can just generate your invoices from the hub itself. Again, it's very basic. As we go along, we will make things more in depth. At this point, it's very easy. You put your name, company name, address. Same with your client. Your logo pops up at the top. You can put the number of the invoice that you want, and then you can simply add your items or services with the tax, with a discount, and then it totals it all for you. And like Lynn said, there's no formatting necessary. It just generates a nice one-page PDF that you can just save to your computer or send to your client.
Okay, lovely. I think that I haven't checked it out yet, but I think that's a great thing, because I know every time I create an invoice on Pages, it's just so annoying, right? Because I'm like taking out their template, this part, leaving this in, and then I'll click on something and somehow I screw up the back, like whatever, the code or something, and then it doesn't add up anymore, and I'm like, crap, I have to open it again and start with a new, you know what I mean? Like
Exactly. Yeah. So like Sean said, either you're dealing with this like massive amount of different applications. Like Sean and I often use Invoice Home. I've started using Square now for my clients with my meal prep business, but I was using Invoice Home first, because it was way easier. It was just like click, drag and drop, and whatever it was. And so that's what we created with our invoice as well. Super simple, no format.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. Well, let's get into, I'm going to save for last the appointment booking. I'm really curious about that and excited about it, but I'll save it for after we go through the basics that everybody would be familiar with, especially if you're a student of or a grad of CSNN, is all these amazing forms that are, in paper copy and just take a long time, and you have to you have to save them to your computer, and then you have to send them to the client, then they have to fill it out, then you have to save it back to your computer. And there are a lot of content all in, only 2 to 3 documents. Whereas what Lynn and Sean have done is separated things out a little bit, so you can, basically send your clients a few forms at once instead of overwhelming them. And so everything that you would have gotten from your training is now, it's like an online thing. So you get to literally go into, so inside of the Holistic Nutrition Hub, you click on forms, and you literally just, click on the form you want to send to your client. You set them up as your client. So you can just click on, their name, and send the form, and it comes to them branded with your logo, and they can fill it out online. And then when they do, and they press send, it ends up back in your personal email account. And then you can literally just download this as PDFs and save them to a file on your computer with your client's name. And it's just so much easier, especially in this age where so many of us are doing our business online, right? Like our clients are not coming to our home anymore, to our office, right? They are literally like coming to Skype or to Zoom, like similar to this, right? Just being on screen. And so this just takes that step out of opening, saving, sending, right?
Yeah, printing, scanning back in, emailing. Oh, I didn't get your email. Oh, it took me 10 days to do them. Yeah, all of the things. Yeah, so the form sender is a big one. I don't know if you had anything more to say, Sherry, but yeah, so the form sender was a big one. We basically have a client manager section, so you can put in their name, their email, and that gets saved in the back end, so that when you use the form sender, you just, like you said, choose their name, click on each form that you want to send them, and then that just gets emailed off. And the questionnaires kind of pop up like an online questionnaire, and they hit submit, it gets emailed back to you. Sean's also just set up a text message notification thing as well, because we wanted to make sure that practitioners were aware that, hey, so-and-so just sent you this, make sure you check your email, or make sure you check your account, essentially. Yeah. And so that's basically the form sender, which makes it so quick and easy. You can customize your message to them as well. And then, like you said, you can pick and choose how many forms you want to send them. So for those of you who haven't either signed up for our free membership or seen what we're doing, we have, how many forms do we have now, honey? Sean's been adding stuff the last couple weeks, and I haven't had a chance to stay on top of it.
We have, I believe it's 8 forms that you can send to a client. There's the intake form, there's the medical history form, there's an informed consent agreement. There's also now a specialized informed consent agreement if you're working with minors, so that the guardian or the parent can actually fill it out. And then we have the food and symptom journal. All of the ones I mentioned so far, besides the specialized one for minors, all of those are available in our free membership, so everybody can use them for free starting right now. And then in the more advanced section, we have, like I said, the specialized informed consent for minors. We have the vitamin and mineral deficiency assessment. We have the total body systems assessment. And then we have the kitchen equipment questionnaire. That's the forms we have so far that you can send to your client.
Yeah, that's great. And I think it's also great, not just for holistic nutritionists, but other health coaches who've maybe trained in schools that actually did not give them any assessment tool. Mm-hmm. They literally can come to you guys and get an assessment tool to help them actually prioritize where they need to be working first with their clients to get the results, right? So all the health coaches from other schools as well can really benefit from this as a
exactly.
Yeah, so that's great. Yeah. I'm really happy you guys have done this because it's needed.
It's kind of one of the reasons why we separated some of the forms up. For those of the people listening who have gone to CSNN, everything is kind of jumbled together in a 5-page document, and then there's all the questionnaires to do with symptomatology. And the reason that we separated it was A, not to overwhelm the client, and B, to allow people to really send what was important first and foremost. So if you have somebody who has medical conditions, you know, that can be taken care of. Hopefully people will be more truthful too, because they're a little bit shorter and they're not feeling overwhelmed. We also separated, we didn't separate, but we joined everything together. So there's no breakdown of specific, subsystems. So digestion, intestinal, liver, you have no clue what these questions are in relation to. And we've grouped them together. So there was a lot of crossover where there was the same question asked multiple times on each form. And so we paired those all down to make just one question. If they answered it once as a 3, it's a 3 across the board. It's not a 1 on the first page and a 3 on the next page. For CSNN grads, you guys know what I'm talking about, or students. So it really makes sure that the results that you're getting back are truthful, which I think is really important because there's no biases. Like if somebody thinks that they have candida, they have no clue which questions are in relation to that. So there's a lot more openness, and hopefully the results will be a little bit more truthful and correct. Yeah. So yeah, there's that advanced form. What did I want to say about that again? That's okay. Sean, what other forms would you like, or do you have more to touch on the TBSA?
I just want to add something before you, because I think that whole thing of them not being able to see, like their symptom being related to something, is good on two levels. Not just that, they might change how they respond because they're like, oh, I don't want to have that problem, or I don't see it as having that problem. So I'm going to change the answer here, right? And then you're not getting as an accurate assessment. And then also, I think it's also really good because you're not used like words are medicine, right? So if somebody is checking off things and they're suddenly starting to fear, like, oh no, I have candida. Oh, what does that mean? And then, instilling that fear in them, that definitely does not help them to heal. It doesn't help them to identify with any sort of disease or disorder. So I think it's really great to just the way you've done it so that people are just like, oh, it's just symptoms and it doesn't really mean anything specific at this point. And this is, preventative health and healing. And so we don't need to always have a, description for these imbalances. And so that's another reason I really love it.
100%. And just to touch more on that from my point of view is also when they don't know, candida might be something that you want to work on the second or third visit. If you are working on their digestion and it's not actually getting back going with the help that you've given them in the first one, then if you're instilling this, oh, I have candida, then they're holding on to that fear the whole time, when in reality, if you fix some other issues, that might just go away. So what's the word I want to use here? I can't even think. My words are gone.
That's okay. You know what? I actually just read or saw this video where it was like, oh, when you forget, that's a sign of intelligence, because your brain is like, oh, well, it knows how to really filter things that don't need to be remembered.
Okay, then I must be really smart, because these days I am forgetting everything. Some brain is still well, we'll just leave it there anyways. Thought gone. It's out the window, guys. Sorry. Oh well. Anyways,
I'm going to pick up here. I think to add to what you guys just said, definitely making it easier on the client side. That was a big focus along the way for all the forms and all the processes that we've gone through to set up that platform, is that we don't want the client to have to print anything, to fill out many pages at a time, to, like you guys said, be afraid of what they might have because of what they clicked on. And then have to scan things back in. We want to take away as many steps as possible in the process. So, for example, for that TBSA, the Total Body Systems Assessment, you go into your platform, you click literally 3 buttons, and you send that to your client. They click one link, open it up. Like you very well said, Sherry, they click a list of symptoms that they don't know what it's related to. They just click a list of symptoms. And they submit it, and then you receive the detailed breakdown with all the results, and then you can decide what you want to act on. Because as Lynn and I have learned in our years of practice in our Lynne and nutrition and me in training, the client only needs a very small amount of information, to actionable information, to make progress. Sending them all the results is just going to overwhelm them, scare them, and in the end, they're not going to do anything. So we leave it up to the practitioner. I've had that questions a few times, actually. Should I send those results to my client? And every single time I say no, because it's your job. You need to break down the information. There's this saying, the plumber comes in or the guy tries to fix the sink and he can't fix the sink, and he calls the plumber, and the plumber comes in and just taps with his hammer in one little spot, and then it's working again. And he say it's $150. And he said, what? But it just took you 2 minutes. Well, it's not about the time. It's about knowing where to hit. So as a practitioner, you need to give your client what they need at that time. instead of just giving them everything and letting them figure it out. That's probably the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty much what I just wanted to say, except he said it far more gracefully than I did.
It's just the universe wanting him to say it.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Okay, let me see what else here. Oh, there is a kitchen equipment questionnaire, which is really nice, just so that, you can give your clients recommendations based on what they have, right? Like if they don't have a Vitamix and all your recipes need a Vitamix, that's not going to work for them.
Not going to work. So as a meal prepper, I come across this every day. I go into people's homes and I meal prep for them. And if I don't know what kitchen equipment they have, it makes it really hard to plan. If I say, oh yeah, I need a food processor, and I show up and they don't have one, I either need to bring mine with me or I need to change the recipe. So if you're making recommendations to your clients that are unrealistic for them based on what they have in their kitchen, that's super important. It's really about the client here and trying to get them to actually take your recommendations. So yeah, that's why we created that one. And yeah, I use it on my questionnaire for my meal prep business on my main consult form. I have a quick questionnaire. Tell me what kitchen equipment you have, so that right away I can do a 15-minute consult call and know exactly what I need to ask them further. So
nice. Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. Okay, I think I'm at the question that I said I would leave for the last here in terms of the tools that I've taken notice of, and that's the new one with appointment booking. That's an amazing service.
Yeah, it's. I have to say it's very basic at this point. It is not as extensive as other scheduling software might be.
Yeah.
But very simply, it allows you to save events in your calendar on your account, and you can either save events as essentially for internal use only, so that only you see them. Maybe you want to track when you first contacted someone, you want to track when somebody purchased a package, you want to track when they used up a follow-up call, or when they asked a certain question. So you can track this on the back end, and then you can click on your client's profile and you can see all the events that you saved for that person. It allows you to stay on top of your business and not lose track of what's going on. But then now you can also save you can set up appointments that are in the future, and you can notify your clients of it by email. And so it's very simple. You essentially pick the date, the time, the title of the event, and then if you want to, and then which client it's assigned to, and then you can decide whether or not you want to notify the client of that appointment. And you can also set up a notification that's going to be sent to them automatically 24 hours before the appointment, so that nobody forgets about it. That's essentially the gist of it. Like I said, very simple at this point. But for somebody who's starting out, who doesn't have necessarily the means to sign up with 10 different software to run their business, we're really trying to have it all in-house, and streamlining, I think, is the best word to use. To have all the tools in one place so that people can run their business as best as possible.
Okay, nice. And is there any tools that I missed that you guys wanted to highlight?
Did we talk about the food and symptom journal?
It was mentioned, but we didn't talk in depth about it. Do you want to share about that?
Yeah, I'll just touch briefly on that one, and then maybe, I think that's it. I don't think we're forgetting anything after that point. The food and symptom journal is super easy to use. It basically tracks the clients. You as a practitioner can pick how many days you want them to fill it out. So you can say, I want you to fill this out for 2, 5 days. So when you're actually using the form sender, you say, okay, please, and then it says beside it, please fill this out for 5 days or 3 days. Then they just fill it out. It tracks all their food, their water, but also their symptoms, and then comments about the day, like if they struggled with something like that. So it's a little bit easier than just getting them to type up a food diary, because we're looking at their symptoms as well, and whether or not they're feeling a certain way related to certain foods. So combining those two together, I think, was really important, especially if we're looking for food sensitivities or allergies or something like that. So
yeah, great. Yeah, and it's like we're moving into this age where everybody does everything on the computer these days, that it's almost seems weird to give your clients things to fill out on paper, you know?
For sure.
And I think the younger, you know, as time goes on, that'll be more the case. Like I find, like I tend to work with women more in their 40s and up, and so they like the paper copy more. But I do notice that younger people are just like, they just want to work things out on their devices, right? So this is like what we're moving into.
For sure.
Is this type of platform. And I just love how, you know, it keeps you organized, but, you know, we're not needlessly wasting paper, right?
Yeah,
for an environmental reason as well, right?
Yeah.
And the toxicity of ink and everything. So it has that benefit as well.
For sure.
So is there anything that you guys have in mind for the future for the Holistic Nutrition Hub that you plan to create, that you want to give us a sneak peek about?
Yeah, we have a few big things. And again, we said this earlier, it's not the end of the rope for us. Like every day, Sean and I will have an idea and we'll be like, let's do that. We'll do this. But we have 3 big things that we're going to be working on in the beginning of 2018. Separately, of course, I say separately, but together. One is an ebook. So the ebook, I'm really excited about it, is actually going to be a book that helps bring together the processes of consulting. So I have a couple notes so I don't know what I'm reading, but mainly it'll be how to integrate our forms into running your practice and making it more streamlined. And then the process of when you consult, what you should do. So checklist, you know, for a consult, forms.
Guys, I don't know if you can hear it. I don't know if you can hear it. Echoes going in.
You have it as well.
Okay.
Oh, I don't hear an echo.
Maybe if I turn my sound down. Okay.
Or turn the sound off and then
Yeah, I'll turn it down. It's better.
I don't hear it on this end, so it might not be in the recording, just so you know.
All right. Sorry.
Yeah, the basic idea of the ebook would be a process-based ebook on how to start to finish work with your client, and how to streamline it so that you're only spending X number of hours with them doing these processes. So you're not fumbling around. You don't know, okay, well, I did this with them. Now what do I do? So that's kind of the idea of the ebook. So it'll have how to package them effectively for your area, how to price your work, how to save time, how to integrate our forms, the processes, like I said, on how to do that. Essentially just to help people structure their consulting business.
That's great. Yeah. It's like kind of organize their brain for them of how everything flows.
Exactly. So using my experiences and Sean's experiences and what's worked the best for us, will hopefully help other people, you know, run their business more smoothly. And they know with every client, this is what I need to do. This is how it's going to be. Obviously, there's going to be like different shifts. So it's not going to be a cookie cutter thing, but at least then they've got the bricks to put together a very solid process anyways.
Nice. That sounds
great. Sean, did I miss anything that you think we're going to be including in there?
No, that's it. I think you touched on everything, honey. For example, when somebody starts consulting with a new client, what do they need to do? What points do they need to remember along the way? Don't forget to, it's as simple as don't forget to bill your client, but just have all the things escape your brain when you're working on your business all day long. So just have, like Lynn said, just systematize the way you approach your business. so that you don't forget anything along the way, and then you can focus on growing your business and finding new clients versus getting lost in the minutia. I think that's very important. So that's definitely something that we're very exciting to put together in the next few weeks.
Awesome. And any other things that you plan to create that are in the future?
I'll touch on this one, and then Sean, I'll leave you to content after. But it'll be, so we have the total body system analysis, which is very similar to, I mean, for all practitioners, it's very similar to the CSNN's NSP form or the NutriBody assessment. That's what our TBSA is similar to. They're not the same, but they're very similar to both of those. And what we want to do is make a recommendation tool, which is very similar to the vitamin and mineral deficiency recommendation tool. So how you click, vitamin A and all the recommendations pop up. We want to do something very similar with the TBSA recommendations. So if somebody is having issues with their digestive system, you click digestive, and then all the lifestyle recommendations, all the food recommendations, supplements, all of that stuff is auto-populated into that document. Again, it'll be editable and you can change things around for them, but at least then the core basic tools are there. The biggest thing I found when I was consulting and first starting out is that I remembered the basics, but sometimes we need to dig a little deeper, and I would have to flip through all my textbooks and it would take me so long. So if you can have just the skeleton of these are the main points that you need to take home or give to your client, set out for you so that there's way less work done for you. And so we want to do it, with digestive system, intestinal system, thyroid, adrenals, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think that really helps not just the practitioner save time, but it helps the client, because when you're mired down in doing all this back end work for the client that they actually don't really value because they have no idea how much time it takes you to do that, you have more time to actually focus on the accountability and support with clients. And that's where, they need the help, right? Like there's information available everywhere, but, they came to you to narrow it down to what they really need as an individual. And then it's about you helping them to actually stay on track. And that's, where the coaching comes in. But if you're so mired down in all this background stuff in your business, then it's like, you're just not giving your clients the same level of attention as you would if you felt super relaxed and on top of everything. So I think
super relaxed on top of anything. And then if you ever question yourself, you can actually just click on it and be like, okay, well, here's what I recommend for this. So quite often I would find, sometimes I didn't know the answer to something. And I'm truthful. I say, you know what, I'm not 100% sure on this. I'll get back to you tonight on it. But if you have this available to you where you can just kind of click a button, even if you are sitting in the consult with them, and you can just say, here are some things that we can work on this week instantaneously. Probably not the best process in my opinion, but if you need to do it or they ask a spontaneous question, at least then you have that at the touch of a button kind of thing.
Yeah, it's better than going to multiple pages in Google.
Yeah, exactly. Or multiple textbooks on the shelf or, yeah, exactly. So those are kind of the two big things. I'll be working on a lot of those myself with Sean's input. The TBSA, obviously, a lot of that stuff has to come from me. The copy at least has to come from me, and then the process will come from Sean. So we'll be working on it together. And then Sean has one more thing that he's going to be working on.
That's going to be a joint effort as well. I think I was lucky when I started my personal training business to find a lot of resources online to learn about running a business, to learn about marketing. I had some mentors in the early days that pointed me in the right direction, and that did a lot to help me grow my business and find clients. So we want to now carry that over and help nutritionists, because as much as there is content online, there is videos, there are blogs, but I don't find that there's as much actionable content for nutritionists as there is maybe in other fields. So we want to provide the number one resource for students and graduates to help them grow their business, run their business, find clients, learn how to do marketing. What kind of website do I need? How do I write a blog? How do I rank in Google? All those things that people ask all the time, but there's honestly not a lot of information specifically tailored to nutritionists, because they're I mean, for example, if we're talking about SEO and Google, there's a lot of information out there. It's a huge market, but diving into those articles can be a little daunting if we don't have a technical background. I personally love doing this. Yeah. So my goal is to try and break those down into digestible chunks so that people can actually use the most important information and then use that to grow their business. So content is something we're going to be focusing on in the next year. Put out as much valuable content for the community so that whether people use our platform or not, that's going to be independent completely. Really try and, like Lynne said at the beginning of the interview, we were always set out to help as many people as possible, both me with my training business and Lynne with her nutrition business. I realized early on that you can't, hourly work, you can't scale it. So the best thing to do is to go online and reach more people. That's why I started with videos. I started shooting videos, exercise videos, etc. for my business. Started vlogging as well, writing for the blog. That was a way to reach more people. Now with the hub, we have this opportunity to reach potentially thousands of practitioners, in turn helping them help thousands of, tens of thousands of people down the line. So if we can put information out that's going to help these people, we'll do it in a heartbeat. So that's what we're going to be working on primarily in the next year.
Okay, that's great. And what about for other personal trainers? Do you have people who are personal trainers that use your system? Because I could see that it could also be helpful for them as well, especially with the nutrition side with their clients.
Absolutely. So I have a couple friends that have jumped on and that are in the nutrition side as well. They've maybe taken the precision nutrition certification. That's not as in depth with all the scientific side and the technical side as other schools, but I think they do a very good job on the coaching side and how to help people with behavior change, which is really the name of the game, both in training and in nutrition. So that's definitely something that we're not necessarily targeting these people directly, the trainers, because I think as much as it's great to have both in one, to have a trainer being able to give nutrition advice, I think that's fantastic. It's very complementary. At the same time, I think you can lose track of what's most important when you're doing it. Akin to, for example, me as a trainer trying to fix every little twinge and that somebody might feel versus sending them to a physio that I recommend. I have 1 hour to do my best to get them fit, to get them strong, to get their conditioning up. If I spend 50 minutes doing mobility work, am I doing the best job that I can as a trainer? Not necessarily. That's kind of my point of view on it. So we do have a few trainers, but definitely we're focusing on the practitioners, the nutritionists that need all of those tools, or the advanced tools, again, to do their job properly. So that's really the people that we're focusing on.
Okay. I should say something to this. It doesn't mean I myself work with a lot of personal trainers doing meal prep for their clients. And then also, again, like one of my first jobs as an RHN was working in a gym. So we are looking to build, like a macronutrient template breakdown for people who are personal trainers and also holistic nutritionists. But it could be used for personal trainers. Sean and I have talked about it a lot on, where this could go far down the future. But right now, our main goal is to help our community the most because it is there's massive holes in information that need to be answered. And like Sean had said, it's so important for us to work with everybody so that they can in turn help everybody else. So
yeah. Okay, cool. That's great. Okay, let me see if there's anything else. That's all that I have in terms of questions. Did you guys have anything else that you wanted to share about the business, or just anything, like a thought that came up at some point that you didn't get to say?
I think if I have to say anything, it would be I encourage people to hop on the community. and join the free membership and just try it out. Mainly just so that we can have more people offering more information to other practitioners, and also so that we get a better idea of what needs assistance in the area. You know, if we have more people coming together and asking questions or saying what their struggles are or something like that, that really will help us benefit everybody else in turn, because then we can see really what people are needing and what help they need. So I really do encourage anybody who's listening just to hop on, come join the community, see what other people are saying, what they're struggling with, and what we can help with, essentially.
Great. So how do people get access to the free membership?
Sean?
So they can just head to holisticnutritionhub.ca, click the membership button, and then they can simply sign up for their free membership. And in there, they'll have access to the form sender that we mentioned. They'll be able to send an intake form, the medical history questionnaire, the informed consent agreement, and a food and symptom journal to their clients. And again, get the results in return directly to their email. The free membership does not include PDF results. I think that's something worth noting. But it's great for either students or even fresh graduates who do want to save a little bit of time and